Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of How You Do That. How you guys doing?
We do good.
How you doing?
All right.
How you doing?
Still alive.
Actually, you know what? Why don't you guys try doing the intro? Dennis, you want to make some?
What's up, everybody?
That's
Hey, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us today on How You Do That.
Nice.
You got me, Ming, and John.
Peace. Great. Today is actually episode 3.
Oh,
Episode 3.
Yes.
It should be episode 3 of How You Do That. Thanks for joining us all this while. It's been an interesting project so far. How you guys been since the last time we recorded, which was like what, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? Yeah.
you cannot let them know how long we.
Okay, right,
daily,
you're right.
daily.
How you guys been since the last episode? How you guys been?
Man has been traveling, of course.
Yes.
Man's
Have I?
always traveling.
Yes. I have.
This guy travels so
No,
much.
Hey,
This
give you one
no,
high.
but
This guy
it's
travels so
different.
much.
It's different because theoretically, I live in
Theoretically.
Singapore.
True.
So coming to KL
Okay.
is also me traveling.
Okay,
True.
So the fact that I'm here right now recording this, I
Traveling.
am
Okay.
traveling.
So let's negate KL.
Yes.
What was the other travels? Was
I went to Taiwan.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
That was fun.
That was a lot
We
of
spoke
fun.
about that. We spoke about that.
Yeah.
Spoke
He had
about
the-
that.
he had
And that's
the-
about it. That's all I've been.
So
That's
from
true, that's
from the previous episode, he went to Taiwan. This episode, he was at Taiwan. What about you and me?
What have we been doing? You told me to get a car. So we won't talk about that yet.
That is true. From the previous episode to this episode, man gotten a new car.
I've gotten significantly poorer because of
Stop
the car.
lying.
Significantly.
That car costs maybe 2% of his salary. Enough. Don't
That's
lie.
mad. I wish. But you know, goals.
Goals.
How you been? What have you been up to?
Fixing my cars. You see, as you grow older, you realize that, you know, men can only have that many hobbies. And I decided, you know what, if I can't dance any money to find another hobby. So I thought, hey, let's go for cars.
So you actually fixed the car.
No, I just sent to the workshop and
You
watched them.
did?
You spend money on a car
It's
and you
like-
spend money to fix the car.
Correct. It's like you buy the golf club, right? You get somebody to play and you watch them play, you know.
No. The theory is like that. See, guys buy new car,
Yes.
pay loan.
Yeah.
After 5 years, lose money. I buy old car, cash, cheap, fix, not so cheap, time consuming, but sell, make money.
I like.
I'm Singaporean, I cannot relate.
But
Every
I mean-
time we buy car, it's lose
Correct.
money.
It's all lose money.
I mean, in Singapore, by 10 years, the car got no value already.
We need to we need to step him into
still
this.
got value,
Still got value.
but COE too high value.
Actually, we need to step him into this because he can, with the SGD, right? You can collect retro cars, you know, in KL and the price all go up one.
Instead
All
of
go up
fixing cars, I rather fix my life. I think it's
Okay, I think
right.
fixing cars is one of the ways
Yeah.
to run away from troubles,
Yes.
from my problems in
Damn.
life.
or you
Damn.
could just fix your troubles in life and
we
not
got
have
no
to.
time
No,
for that.
sometimes the fifth gear go faster.
Don't
Damn.
y'all feel like y'all don't have enough time? Like I think about it. If I actually had to spend time fixing my cars,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
then that's not the point. The point of getting a car is so that you can get from point A to point B faster.
You confirm? That means okay. This just it's nothing to do with today's topic, by the way. That means this is testing. Okay, did you fix Gundams when you grew up? Tamiya's?
Just buy a new one.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, we got it. Okay, understand. But yeah, since the last I think we met, there's been a lot of things going on. Hopefully, we can share it with everyone. But today, we're going to talk about something that we kind of talked about just now. This is Dennis' specialty. Obviously, visually, you can see already. Today, my fellow guy and man friends and lady friends alike, we're going to talk about well-being. Well-being is a big thing, and then it's usually from just experience, it's one of the most talked about topics on the female lady podcast. I'm like, hey, we gotta do it as well.
Yes,
but
men well-being.
Where is men's well-being? I don't think we think about it much, but this is going to be something to dive into, especially when you reach the age where everything hurts. Apparently,
30 years and above.
yeah, our good friend here going for acupuncture every other week. Wow, I cannot, man. But yes, let's set the stage. Well-being. When I
Yes.
say well-being, what's the first thing that comes into your head?
Health. Health is wealth.
You know what comes into my head? Chiropractor. For some reason, my equivalent of well-being is go chiropractor.
Okay, so for everyone that's watching, and a lot of people, maybe you guys don't believe in chiropractor or physiotherapies. And yes, I agree that sometimes going to chiropractor and physiotherapist is a lot of money. That's when you're 20. At 30 years old, you should. Because like all old cars, they need to be serviced
Come
and
back to
fixed.
car already.
All old body needs to be serviced. Yes, because our body, our bones, everything will go out of alignment. So I didn't do that before I was 30. So after I was 30, bro, I've been going to chiro and physio for the past 4 years. I wish I can stop going because it hurts. But every time when I start working out again, my body will go into a shock and then it will freeze up. And the only way I can release that frozen neck or that frozen shoulder or frozen bicep or frozen tricep is when they needle it to release that. And when they release that, I cannot work out for 2-3 days, and then I will work out again, and then after 1 week, it hurts again.
I can't relate.
And that is why right now I'm slightly smaller because I stopped working out for the past 10 months, trying to recover.
This is small.
I was,
actually, it's true. He was bigger.
Yes, yes.
He was a lot bigger.
So many people came to me right now like, Dennis, you're so skinny.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
he is.
technically, I'm not really skinny.
He's
I'm just
not.
smaller. But I'm just trying to recover and trying to come back and get back my size. Not too big, but at least somewhere that I can feel a bit more confident with myself.
What does well-being mean to you, John?
So I always have this theory.
Oh,
right?
damn. Okay.
Women worry about a lot of things. They worry about their hair, their nails, their outfit.
Correct. Okay.
You know, men, we only worry primarily on 2 things:
Them.
the woman and money.
Oh, nice. All right. Not
And
wrong.
all
Not
our
wrong.
problems, right? We'll go back to just these 2 things.
Oh, shit.
Right?
Agree.
So when it comes to well-being, I feel like it's 2024.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
so
okay.
so there's a lot of information and knowledge out there about female well-being. You know what to do, you know, go and do your nails, go and do your hair, or whatever makes you happy and find your blessing.
All kind of options.
I feel like for men, right, we have this thing, right, that we feel like we need to find our own thing.
Right.
So we do cars or things that exclude the women. You know, some men go KTV or something, but
Golfing.
yeah, golfing, you know, like these hobbies.
right.
And not to say that they're not good. I mean, it's great. I'm guilty of it as well. I love to play golf. But I realized that, and this happened recently, maybe in the last 1 year, that actually going to with your partner or your girlfriend or your wife to do their well-being stuff, it's actually quite therapeutic.
Damn.
And for me in particular, I go to Pilates with my wife once a week.
I see. I do see that.
And
I
at
do see that.
first, I was like, Pilates, are you kidding me? Nah, man. I want to do gym. I want to do something.
Your
But
Pilates is not easy. Yo.
It's not
Yo.
easy, right?
it's great.
It's
So I do
great.
it on a
Damn.
Monday. Monday morning, first thing to start my week, my work week, I do Pilates at 9 a.m.
Your Monday very packed, eh?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But-
Monday very packed.
But Pilates at 9 a.m. But it starts my week perfectly throughout because it motivates me to kind of wake up the next day. And it's one of those things where my guy friends ask me like, hey, you do Pilates?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what is it like? And it's very confusing. Like you don't actually know what it is. To be very honest with you, till today, I've gone at least
still
2
don't know what
packages
it
already.
is.
I still don't know what it is. But it actually works out certain muscles that you would never work out. And you can't even necessarily work out in the gym. You can't necessarily work out playing football or basketball and those type of high impact sports or doing, I don't know, interval trainings and stuff like that. But it's great. And it's slow. I tried yoga before. I can't do yoga. Yoga is not for me, you know, but yeah, so it helps my wife with her well-being, and it then solves one of my 2 problems, which is women, right? You want to spend time with your wife, right? And you want to do something together.
2 birds,
you
1
know.
stone.
But of course, on the money side, it goes down. You know, it's a correlation. But
Happiness.
happiness.
Until you can start doing like the Apple workouts in your own living room, then you know, maybe you kill 3 birds with 1 stone. You know?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we break down well-being into a few categories. Obviously, for guys, I think the most talked about physical well-being, right? And now I would say actually can only say here with kids, I can honestly say the physical well-being part is the most intense part now. I don't know about you guys. I was just talking to Dennis about this the other day, right? That I've gotten aches in places I've never understood, right? Like I had muscle pulls in my skull, dude. Like, I can't even explain this.
I don't know whether any of you had it before.
Yeah.
I had cramps under my neck here.
So-
I had cramp right here.
Yeah. I realized that towards the part where you need to continue to pick up your kid, you start to use muscles that your body starts engaging in different ways.
Correct.
And that to me is, first of all, the most talked about thing for guys. Like how, you know, do you work out? Do you whatnot? But I guess also there are different aspects of it. Obviously, at the table here, we all can see who takes care of the physical aspect the most. Yes.
Minghan.
Obviously, I'm ripped. I got
2 daughters, man. See the guns.
I lopsided, bro. 117 kilo, 117 kilo, 18 kilo, bro. That's mad. But Dennis, how disciplined have you been at your peak of physical well-being?
What?
How disciplined is it? Like,
I-
you were
oh.
big at one point.
Okay, so I was going gym 7 days a week. Each time I was in the gym, even on my rest day, it was 3 hours long. It starts off with 30 minutes of running, 2.5 hours of working out, and 30 minutes of abs.
That sounds like a full-time job right there.
So sometimes I will work out 4 hours because my first workout alone is 2 hours long.
Wait.
First workout is 2 hours long.
Just out of curiosity, what's a workout?
Okay, so a workout is your whole entire
workout.
program.
Yeah,
lah.
yeah, yeah.
So
Oh, it's a
from
program.
First workout to the 5th workout. So usually I'll do about 4 to 5 workouts. Some of them supersets, means there's 2 workouts in one workout, one set. So let's say I start with my first workout. Let's say it's a chest day, right? I will go to a bench. Now that first workout is going to be death.
Death.
Meaning to say there will be 3 warm-up.
Okay.
You're going to start with maybe like a empty bar, then you add a 10 kilos, then after you add another 10 kilos. I mean, I'm talking about 2 sides, yeah? 10 kilo means that say your bar is 20 kilos, that's 40 kilos, that's warm up. Then every set you increase by 10 kilos till you're probably about like 1 full plate. Then that's where you start your building set. So you go from 1 plate to 1/2 to 2 to 2/2. Once you hit 2/2, then that's when I start my working set 5 times 5. Then finish that 5 times 5, I will go into a burnout set, which is 20 reps, 15 reps, then I'll drop 1 plate. 20 reps, I'll drop another plate. 25 reps, drop another plate. That will be 1 full workout. That will take me about 1 hour to 1.5 hours.
Brother, I just do 10 push-ups, I'm done, bro.
So that was just 1 workout, yeah?
What the?
So that was what I used to do 10 years ago.
Yeah, you were huge.
I was mad and I was crazy because at that point, all I was telling myself, it wasn't just trying to get big. I was trying to challenge myself because at that point, I was constantly just listening to those motivational speeches, and in that thing, it was telling me that you are your own competition and you have to battle it yourself. And I found that in the gym because there is no one that's going to help you to lift this 200 kilos.
Damn.
And the only person that will ever be able to lift this 200 kilos for you is yourself.
Damn.
So to be able to get there, it's all about your planning, your programming, to your diet, to your sleep, to your drinks, to your food. Everything is all calculated just so that I can hit 140 kilo 1 rep. That is 3 plates. So I did that 3 times. And every time I did that, tendinitis. This was the first tendinitis I got on the first time I hit the 3 plate.
Cost?
Then the second tendinitis and then the third tendinitis. So I had 3 tendinitis, and then from then on, my whole entire body just got worse and worse. And as I grew older, pains that I've never felt just came, and the worst one was like almost a year ago where I had 7 impingement from T1 to T7, which pulls all the way to the back of my shoulder here, which pulls all the way down to my tricep, which has no strength at all. I couldn't even lift 5 kilos. That pulls all the way down to the 3 fingers over here. So can you imagine how many acupuncture sessions I had to go to and
This was supposed to be motivational for well-being.
Yeah, I got a question. One very, very simple question. Is it worth it though?
Is it worth it? Yeah. It was like, wow, it started like, wow, that's really disciplined.
No. So this comes with experience. So here's my take. When now there's a lot of younger kids or younger teenagers or young men that comes to my gym. And obviously because we're young and we have a lot of testosterone and we just want to prove to people around us and to ourselves that we can lift heavier.
Yeah.
But right now there are a lot of bodybuilders out there, experienced lifters, and everyone that are sharing on YouTube the right way to really grow your muscles. If let's say it's all about strength, there's a proper way to do it. If it's all about aesthetic, there's a proper way to do it. There's always a proper way to do what you want to do. And taking back to what he mentioned and what you mentioned about joints and all this and all that kind of stuff, like I was telling Ming Han, a lot of us when we were younger, I myself, we were focusing on building the muscle, right? The problem is that my physio and my chiro both told me that your ligaments, your tendons, and your joints also have muscles.
Okay.
So one is lifting. So that's why a lot of people are saying you have to do also the eccentric, which is the negatives. So that is what Pilates does a lot. It's a lot of core. Meaning
Shout out to Pilates.
So say for example, it's just a rope and I'm actually lifting my body weight.
It's both ways,
I'm
right?
lying down on a certain position, lifting this leg to the back or there's a resistant band over there. And that particular movement, I probably would never do if I'm not in that bed itself, right?
Yeah.
So that will create a certain kind of engagement for a muscle that you've never felt. And the way you do it is probably that negative that I'm saying. So it's not about lifting that 20 kilo. It's just about holding that body weight there for maybe 10 seconds and doing that for 10 minutes.
What was, I mean, this is Dennis level, right? It's gotten, I'm not going to say yet. What was the closest you've gotten to this kind of thing? Like you personally,
as in like obsession in terms of
physical well-being, like working out, gym. But have you ever a gym?
I don't. Okay, so if you want to compare this, it's not about physical well-being. It's more about like how would you challenge yourself usually? Like,
okay.
Like say for example, for him, it's probably like his challenge that I can see is that say for example, I did this project. Now I want to challenge myself to do a better one. A
so that's
one.
crazy. So basically, your gym wasn't even really about well-being. It was a challenge to your body.
It's my mental game. It's because I can just say I'm done.
Yeah.
I have a pain here. My heel is sore. I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
But it's about how I can tell myself, go through that pain, shut up, do it. No excuses. No one here is going to help you to lift that weight unless you give up. If you give up, go home then.
So that explains a lot.
I can feel the testosterone coming
out. That explains a lot. Because like people usually link gym to like, oh, you're going to be healthy. But I have a running joke with my gym friends. They go to hospital way more than I go to hospital.
Correct.
Because it's at the end of the day, like you exercise for aesthetics or for function, right?
Some people also exercise to fix themselves. Some people exercise because
it's more than just physical stuff.
Actually, there are a lot of people who build body also because they grew up bullied. Maybe they grew up small. They've been looked as small.
I still grew up small.
No. It works differently for different people psychologically. You know, like some people they cannot accept that they are slightly smaller.
Like my friends who were really chubby when they were kids, who are now is like 8 packs, man.
No. I can say this. The reason why I want to try and look as good as I can my whole entire life, because when I was in high school, a lot of people call me chubby and fat.
Really?
My family, my high school. No, I was just. I had this thing called, I call it a tumor tummy. You're skinny, but you just have a big belly, like
bloated lah.
Yeah, bloated. Damn. So that was why you know what? Because I remember. Okay, this was a long time ago. When I was Form 1, I remember I was learning how to break dance. That thing caused me to stop dancing for that 1 year.
Okay.
I was learning how to do a handstand, and this teacher of mine, senior, he was holding my leg. And then he looked down, he was like,
oh shit.
Porot kau buncit. Basically, your stomach is quite big.
Oh shit.
That day, I stopped breakdancing.
Oh shit.
I felt like shit.
Well, look at him now.
Yeah, I probably got abs. You don't? Okay, you can take that out.
What was the closest you gotten to gym level?
Obsessions. I would say.
Did you ever had it?
I think for me, the issues that I've had throughout maybe my 20s was I always found myself being like trying to get out of a box.
A box.
You know, so for example, let's say my music career, right? I started off as learning the guitar.
Okay.
You know, and same reason, you know, like I started learning the guitar and wanting to be good at it because someone told me that I couldn't do it.
Damn.
Yeah. So then I was like, all right, it's more like I'll show you, and then you obsess over it. And then you realize that it comes to a certain point where you have talent and you have God-given talent. Right? And unfortunately, I find myself not having God-given talent for a lot of things. Right? So I come to a certain point where you attain a certain level of proficiency. You know, the 10,000 hours concept, right? Yeah. Spend enough time, you become proficient in it. And then I think the difficulty that I always try is when I had to transition. So from guitar, then learning how to produce music, you know, learning how to produce music, then you learn how to produce. There's a difference between a song and a record, right? Then you have to have a good song. Some people know how to produce a good song, but they don't know how to produce a good record.
The record, you meaning the whole tracks,
everything.
all the tracks.
Everything together. You know, then I had to learn how to, what's the difference between a good song and a good record and how to produce a good record, right? And then you realize that there's only so many songs and records that you can promote on your own, then you have to learn how to do it for other people. Right? And then you realize that in this part of the world, especially in Singapore where the market is so small, you can't just focus on the domestic market. Then you have to learn how the Thais do it, the Filipinos do it, the Indonesians do it, the Americans do it, the Koreans do it. You know, so it's always, I find my biggest obsession is always trying to get out of that box, to jump into a bigger box. And I obsess with it. I lose a lot of sleep over it. You know, so like now my latest obsession is honestly TikTok. I don't I don't create content on TikTok, but I obsess over people who create it. You know, and then I try to figure out like why some people two people can make the exact same content. One would blame the algorithm and one would say that the algorithm helps me. But there has to be some underlying factor that that makes that difference. So I try to study that, you know, and I think I obsess over that type of studying. You know, and I obsess over now. My latest thing is understanding capital management and financial structures, and that's something that I'm obsessing with, and it's things that I wish that I learned earlier.
Yes.
But when I obsess over it, it's very bad. It's really very, very bad.
Do you guys feel that this is something that people always say guys don't have guys cannot multitask. Have you heard that? For it?
We are the best and the worst multitaskers.
But don't you feel that? Because we are talking about this whole, for this is probably the gym goal setting. How does this obsession that you guys have play into a state of well-being for where you are mentally or as a guy? Because I feel that you will always have your 9 to 5, whatever the 9 to 5 is, right? You always have a focus that you go to. But I always need something on the back burner. I don't know about you guys. I always need like that obsession that I will jump from place to place to do something that kind of gives me like the balance to
between
focusing.
work and
correct,
self, right?
Okay, like last time we study, come home play video games.
Correct.
Right?
For me, it's still video games now.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Okay. So I actually gave a very deep thought on this because at one point I was very lost. I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know what I'm passionate for. I just feel very gone. And that's why I started working out. And I was trying to figure out what was this hole in me that I just felt missing. I just didn't know what it was. And then eventually I understand, for myself at least, is that three of us, we came from a very, I'm not sure about our childhood background, but we came from a very entertainment-based, performance-based sort of like career, right? Yeah. So performance-based career is very much based on our passion, right? So for me, it was dancing, then it was filming, it was doing YouTube, it was doing content. Then eventually that sort of like halted for a moment. And that was when I felt the emptiness. Like, I need to find something to hold on to, something to like, because at that point when I started bodybuilding, it was because I stopped dancing. So I knew I needed to find a new focus to make me feel like
you need that dopamine hit.
I didn't have dancing anymore. So I'm like, what else can I do? Because everything else was work. Acting was work. emceeing was work. Everything that I did was me trying to learn a new industry. To a lot of people, it's like, oh, Dennis, you're made for this. I'm like, dude, every subject or genre is a whole new genre. Acting is different from singing. You know, playing instrument is different from singing. Dancing is different from acting, singing, and whatever. So to learn all that, I had to sort of like, okay, Dennis, you're a piece of paper, learn. And I like that also. It's a challenge back then.
Do you think, this is quite interesting. Like, as a guy, do you think your whole mental, physical, or just emotional, mental space of well-being is related to whether you have a goal to pursue at any one time?
I don't think you actually think of it that way.
Yeah. But
you never even think of your own well-being. You just do.
You just do.
I feel like you wake up, you just do it. Most guys, I mean, unless you actually bring up the topic and you think back and like, okay, what do I actually do for my well-being? It's slotted in there. Yeah. But I feel that more often than not, we don't do it with intention.
There was a movie, right, that, was it a movie or there's a comedian who said, for a Black American, right, it's a liberty or privilege to stop and think about how I feel. You know, for
men in general.
For men in general. Yeah, so like, do you think that's why a lot of these things just come very naturally? Like for gym, at least you get out of bed, you know you're aiming at something for the day. So it gives you purpose for something, right? Yeah. Or if you obsess over, like, even if you have habitual obsessions, like you jump from instrument to obsession or habit or hobby or interest like that. Like I relate to that a lot because I'm quite, there's a word for it, but I hyperfixate on a lot of different things. But I also find that because I have goals set somewhere, it takes care a lot of the overall well-being of where my headspace is. Because if I feel that I don't have a goal, like the worst was when the start of MCO. Wow, that one when everyone locked down, right? Don't know what to do. Government cannot tell you what to do. Friends cannot tell you what to do. It's just like, sit down. In first time in my life, you sit down, right? it's not like taking a holiday where you go to like Bali or something, you sit down and you know you go there to relax. Your MCO was like, okay.
No, that was a nightmare, man.
What is this next 12 hours going to be like? Do you think goal setting is part of well-being for guys?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I have watched this video somewhere. I'm sure we've seen it a lot, saying that for men, not sure for women if it's the same, for myself at least, is that we need to have a goal. We need to have a purpose. And this purpose cannot be, say, for example, our kids, our wife or something. It has to be for us. Because we would do a lot for our family, our kids, our family. You know, we will work, we do all that. But at the end of the day, we also need to focus on ourselves and to be able to find our happy place. Because I believe also that oftentimes we would try to put this responsibility upon our wife's shoulder or our kids and things like that.
Actually, that's true.
But the fact is that if somehow, of course, buying cars and buying all these watches or whatever, it's temporary satisfaction. You know, like Will Smith said in his video, he said he's able to buy whatever he wants to buy. And to get to that point, he said it's scary because then what's left? You literally can buy anything you want. There's nothing you cannot buy. Then what is there left for you? That is actually a very scary place to be at also, right? So how I see it is, whether you're rich, you're not rich, at least if you have a destination, a goal that you are trying to strive towards, you know, to become, then at least during COVID time, when you manifest, there is something. But during COVID time, I did not have a direction. When I closed my eyes, I wanted to manifest. I don't know what to manifest.
Let's talk about that. Okay, because KL one thing. In Singapore, how did COVID hit you? Like in terms of what do you do now? Like where were you at? Yeah.
So circuit breaker, we call it circuit breaker, right? You'll call it MCO.
CB
so
everywhere.
It was very interesting for me because I was in Thailand the day before they announced. So I took literally the last flight back to Singapore. If I missed that flight, I would have been stuck in Thailand for 2 months. Which could have either been the best or the worst thing.
Actually, if you think about it.
But my wife wasn't with me. I went on a bachelor's party. That's a whole different story. But I got back and it was a very intense bachelor party. You know, as most bachelor parties are. And when I got back, it gave me that 1 week break that I kind of needed. I was like, oh, the whole world stopped. Oh, wow. You know, and so it was after that 1 week where I guess with my work peers and acquaintances, everyone is very hyper motivated. Right? So instead of, most people wouldn't just sit back and just let the world collapse on them. They would want to be aggressive and they would want to figure things out. You know, so the government would come out, set a bunch of rules, and instead of saying, okay, let's follow all the rules in terms of a work perspective, right? It'll be like, okay, what can we do and what can we not do? So now they tell us we cannot do these 9 things. Okay, we can do this one thing. Let's just do this one thing, right? Which is why you had a lot of like Zoom meetings and people were trying to connect with each other socially. So you had all these different programs. I can't even, honestly, right now, I can't even remember what they were. But yeah, it was really silly things. And then at that point of time, crypto and NFT started popping up. So you just try to experiment, you know, but I would say that 2 years was a lot of painful lessons. You know, very, very, very painful lessons. But I felt like coming out of it, there were a lot of things right now, in retrospect, when I look back, I would have done very differently. You know, I would have done things very, very, very differently. And I am still regretting till today. You know, so I think whether it's work-wise or personal-wise, you know, it was hard because it was what they called that time the new normal, which was a really bad term, if you ask me. I mean, whoever coined that term, right? It's a very, very bad term because and you can imagine in Singapore it's a little bit tougher because, you know, for me, you know, and my wife, you know, I was not just worried about the economy and the social aspect of it, because it was the first time that I felt that, you know, a news could just pop out like that. People could just die like that. And there's absolute law that can be passed that can just flip your entire life around. You know, and on top of that, you know, I feel like the hardest thing was to try to follow these rules, especially people like us who our goal in life is to share experiences, is to share joy and bring feelings towards people, and everything was then being restricted. You know, then you start questioning yourself, like, okay, do I want to do this? You know, so the mental well-being, I would say, even till today, 2024, I don't think I fully recovered from it. You know, it's a story that eventually maybe I can tell my kid. You know, I'm like, yo, you know, the years before you were born,
you don't know. You
know,
really
like
don't know.
literally 3 of us sitting like this, illegal.
Yeah.
Can you phantom that? You know,
people won't understand.
And in Singapore, they really, I mean, I don't know about Malaysia because I didn't come to KL for that entire period, but I remember in Singapore, like the restaurants, right? It's so ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. You can go as a family. So a families, you're allowed to go out together and sit in the same car. But when you get to the restaurant,
cannot sit together.
2 people
No
must sit in one table and 2 people must sit in another table. And you have these things called, I think they call them safety distance officers. Safe distance officers. So it's these guys in a red polo tee. So the fashion statement, right, during circuit breaker in Singapore, you cannot wear red polo tee. Or if you want people to mess with you, you don't want people to mess with you, you wear a red polo tee. But either ways, you had these guys who were wearing red polo tees. Most of them were either retrenched from their jobs or volunteers or whatever. You know, they were not trained for this because no one is trained for this. Right?
Obviously,
they would walk around literally with a ruler or a measuring tape, measuring the tables like 1 meter. I can't remember the rule, 2 meters or 3 meters. I don't remember the exact rule, but I literally, you will go to the mall, everyone's masked up, and then you have guys walking, and then they are measuring the tape.
Singapore.
And then if you run a restaurant, right, it's so frustrating because it eats into your margins. Because these 2 tables, who probably order the equivalent of 1 table, will pay as 1 bill, right? And then, of course, I mean, that to me was one of the hardest things. And then that went from 100 to 0 in a very, very short, I mean, I won't say a short period of time, but eventually went back to 0 and then everybody had to readjust.
Since you said, okay, we extend it a bit. Because this is quite, I mean, in the recent times, it has popped up more and more about being in Singapore, being in KL. You know, if you guys already have tuned into the last 2 episodes, a big deal of John's life is between Singapore and KL.
Yes.
Do you think, as a Singaporean guy, well-being for a Singaporean man exists? Yeah. Because I can safely say that. I can safely say something. I can safely say something. In KL, we're very chillaxed, right? We're not as stressed out. We're not. But the level of well-being for a Malaysian guy, a Chinese Malaysian guy, is also very different.
Yes.
Right? There's different stresses and everything. But something that I definitely can pinpoint is my Singaporean friends, especially my guy friends in Singapore, go under very different circumstances of life. What is well-being as a Singaporean guy? What does it look like? Does it even exist?
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does.
Oh my god!
To a certain extent. But when you talk about well-being of a guy, a man, right? Let's say we do a prototype of a 30-year-old man, right? In Singapore and in Malaysia, the stresses are very different. And I'll give you an example why. Right? What is the mark of a man that can feel satisfied? Right? And let's say a married man, right? There's a few things, right? House, possibly financial stability, and comfort. Right? So comfort comes in a lot of different forms. You guys talk about buying old cars to play and to fix. In Singapore, the fact that you can even afford to buy a car, that is already like a green flag right there. Right? And then you also have to measure in terms of the expectations of your partners. Right? Because in Singapore, you know, one thing that the rest of the world views the country, there are a few things, you know, government stability, clean,
safe
great
place,
airport, safe place, and Crazy Rich Asians.
Shout out Changi Airport.
Can I just say that the movie Crazy Rich Asians, I'm very happy that it was a global success and Henry Golding, shout out to him. But it also sets a very unrealistic expectation of Singapore. Can I just say? Not only from a international aspect. Like when I travel and I meet anybody, Koreans, Japanese, like
Crazy
Americans.
Rich Asians. Crazy.
Oh, you from Singapore? Oh, you Crazy Rich Asian.
Make it rain.
It's like Yes, there are a lot of rich Singaporeans.
yeah.
I mean, if you go and you see the filthy rich in Singapore, it is
It's
really
filthy.
It's
rich,
very impressive.
Filthy is
in
understatement.
its own way, right?
Yes,
But you also have to remember that Singapore has a very large middle class.
Yes.
You know, and for me, I studied sociology in school. In a Singapore university, I studied sociology. You know, so sociology is the study of society.
Yeah.
Right. So we do break down Singapore society a lot. And it's interesting because we have one of the widest, the widest middle class in all the first world countries, right? If you talk about income disparity, right, you don't even need to talk about the upper class and the lower class. Just talk about the middle class and the disparity amongst the middle class. You know, so everything from what I call basic needs, from housing to comfort to financial stability, it differs very widely. You know, so you could live in an HDB but also be cash rich. You could live in an HDB, a public housing, and also be cash poor. You know, you could live in a bungalow and be cash poor, and you could be living in a one bedroom HDB, rented HDB, and drive a Lamborghini downstairs. You know, it's not entirely impossible. So you hear lots of different stories and different ways of life. But I think the hardest thing for men in Singapore about well-being is the expectation.
Right.
So we used to have this saying when I was growing up, you know, like they would say, oh, you know, you'll have, I mean, not parents telling their daughters, but like there's always this say that, oh, you need to find a man with 5 C's.
The C's thing,
The C's thing, right? It was common. I mean, nowadays I don't really hear it that much, you know, but maybe because I'm not hanging out with 14, 15-year-olds. So, you know, I don't really hear it that much. But it was like, I can't even remember condo, car, credit card, cash. Like it's very shallow, but also none of the 5 C's has happiness. None of the 5 C's have well-being. So you set an unrealistic expectation of yourself. And a lot of people, at least from what I see, is a lot of people give up at a very young age. Because like I was talking to you guys about the school systems, right? In Malaysia, how, you know, you have universities and, you know, do people desire to go to specific universities, or what is the motivation to study? In Singapore, to me, because I went through the education system, now in retrospect, when I look back, it was almost like you know, what's that game? The one where you got 100 characters running and then you have to be like the top 20 to reach the end. Four Guys. It feels a little bit like Four Guys. Like kind of everyone doesn't really necessarily start on the same starting line, but you have to finish. And sometimes some people are lucky. They get one good bounce, bam, they bounce forward. And then you could be running at the start and you're number 1, right? And then you fall into the pit or you get stuck somewhere and then that's it. It kind of feels a little bit like that game, you know? So I think, if Singapore well-being for men, I can't even pinpoint it for you. I mean, there are a lot of things that people do.
Welcome to KL, bro.
Yeah, but KL, I realized, so after coming back and forth for about 7 to 8 years really, I realized that life here, people view life very differently. And I noticed one thing also is that there is most people here can find content. Content and not being necessarily being satisfied,
just happy,
but you can be happy. I am happy with the current situation that I'm in.
Actually, that's mad because that's not something I hear my Singaporean friends say. They always say, I need to get to that. I need to work so I can get that. Or it's nowadays it's like I think I need to move out the country. I need to go to maybe.
I guess it's small country mentality. I mean, our country literally is from east to west. You can drive in half an hour. You know, sometimes from here to back to my place in KL. I get to Subang so longer.
Subang is bigger. Subang is bigger than Singapore maybe. Like USJ to USJ, bro. We're talking at the USJs.
With the jam maybe.
With the jam, timing wise. But
that's true.
I think because it's such a small country, and the rise of Singapore came so quickly. I mean, we were a country in 1965. If you think about it, right, my father was born before Singapore was born.
Baby country,
you know, and in one generation, it's such a huge change already. You know, we've seen the kampongs move to public housing and what it is today. I think it's always a challenge, you know. So I think when it comes to well-being in Singapore, I mean, you ask most Singaporeans what they do on the weekends. At least my friends and my peers, most of them either stay in, you know.
Actually don't go out,
most of them that I know actually stay in. I think one way that I found myself and my wife and I, before we had a kid, one way that we focus on our well-being is we go out and eat. We go and find a nice restaurant, we go there, you spend pretty much exorbitant amounts of money just to eat well. You know,
It's true. It's true.
that's one form of satisfaction. But I realized in KL, you don't need a lot of money to eat well.
Yeah, you are so right. We just had a great lunch.
Yeah,
For
it was great.
35 sing. 4
Yes.
people, bro. But we don't do that.
With big
We
drinks.
cannot convert. We cannot convert the,
Yes.
the currency. It's not fair. Okay, not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Not sponsored.
That's not sponsored. Okay, but I think that was actually one of the biggest things that I noticed, especially after COVID. After COVID, I went back to a very different Singapore, and all our peers suddenly missed a few years of life, and then found everyone in this like, oh shit, need to get married. Oh shit, need to get kids now. Like
I went in COVID not married. I came out with a kid.
With a kid, yeah. exactly, right? But I think this whole deal of well-being, that was a good thing to start. Like this wasn't even planned, by the way, like where the conversation went, because I think I was the simple things is like, yeah, let's go gym, physical well-being. It does set a foundation for you to function, because even if you go therapists, you go psychologists, right? They will always start with a few like servicing your body, make sure you're eating well, sleeping well, because you need to equip your body to be in a well place,
Right.
to be well, But actually, you're right. A lot of guys get through life having an escape to manage everything else.
Yeah.
To have that, like cars or collectibles or
Whatever
golf,
it is.
I think guys are very simple creatures, one. Like you get something that can balance the stress, right? Everything can do one to a certain point. Unfortunately, sometimes it's drugs, sometimes it's alcohol, but to each their own.
But I also I guess in other ways, like how those other people say, because I hear it also, like cars, Pokemon cards.
Hey, man.
All this are just temporary happiness for us to sort of like fill in whatever void or whatever thing that we perhaps are missing within, right? But I guess at the end of the day, I always tell people, like, as long as it makes you happy and you don't harm anyone and you're not hurting yourself and you're at any way still feeling like happy, motivated, excited, I think that's all good. As long as you're happy.
Do you guys agree that as you grow older, it's harder to be happier?
I think the more you know, the harder it is to be happy, because of how just life just kicks you in the ass.
Because when I was younger, I used to think that, if I have a house, if I have a car, if I have a wife and a kid, like that would bring me happiness. Not to say that it doesn't. I mean, of course it does.
Of course.
It's still not enough.
Realistically, okay, I have to say maybe because I think I've lived a very quote unquote alternative normal life for being in this career. I feel I've lived a very different peaceful life.
Yeah.
I can legitimately say I'm happy, but as I grow, there is a different fear. I'm very scared to lose the happiness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not about am I happy or not.
That's what I was getting at. Like, I think it's easier to be unhappy that you haven't gotten it yet than have it and it being taken away from you.
That's what I'm more scared about, because I feel I don't really demand stuff. Like I'm very chill one. I got a home to go to. I got 2 little girls that run to the door for me. Oh, blessed, man. Every day blessed. I don't mind you run to me when I come home, or 3 a.m. at night you come and wake me up. I feel very happy with like this kind of things. I feel happy if like I learn about a car or something like that. I feel like my threshold for happiness is very low, right? But one thing that I realized after going through like health scares and everything, the thing that as I grow older, right, I need to protect the happiness. That's what I'm scared of. I'm not scared of not being happy. I'm scared of the happiness take away. Wow.
But at times also there's no certainty.
Exactly.
I've had a friend who basically, I'm not really a friend, but like someone that I know, basically they had a kid, and then they had a second kid who fell sick, and then a third kid coming. And then I think the second kid passed away just before the third kid was born. Yeah. So can you imagine that mix of feelings?
Yeah.
So it's things like that I feel like, you want to talk about well-being, nothing is for certain.
Yeah. And you're never ready.
And you're never ready for these kind of things. So I guess that's my fear. Every day I wake up thinking like, now I feel like I'm happy. I've got a wife, I've got a son. I'm considered, like, I have this form of happiness that maybe not that I dreamed of it when I was a kid, but you grow up in a family and you always think, what is it going to be like to have my own family?
Yeah.
And now that you're kind of there, you know, like, okay, we have our own family. It's growing in a certain direction every day, month to month, day to day is a little bit different. But, you know, I think when you ask me about well-being and happiness, I don't feel like I can truly be happy simply because I feel like no matter what I do, you know, I cannot guarantee, you know, and that lack of guarantee is why I feel like I would rather not place my efforts into just making myself happy as an individual, but trying to channel my resources, my time, my efforts into securing this family. And no matter how much you try, sometimes it's also no guarantee.
Yeah.
You could try harder and then everything could backfire. So, you know, I think that's the tough part.
I think there was that, I mean, I go to church. You know, you want to come to church, let me know. Easter. Yeah. But there's this, it's basically the concept of you don't really own anything. You are merely a steward until it is done with your time. And I feel that has helped me a lot in terms of like, okay, if I have it now, my well-being, I do the best of it lah. I'm the most responsible with whatever I have. And like you said lah, I don't have a perspective of this belongs to me. I have a right to be this happy. I think since when I was young, in terms of that has really helped a lot in terms of like just being okay with stuff. But before this takes a darker turn, let's do something. We were talking about happiness, okay? And I prepared a few questions to ask you guys.
Yes.
So when it comes to random happiness, we've talked about cars, we talk about things you enjoy. What is one thing lah? Let's just do a servicing thing about just having fun with what you have. What is one thing you can say? You know, not doesn't need to be a goal, doesn't need to be what. What do you spoil yourself with? Doesn't need to be healthy, doesn't need to be good or bad. But what is this one thing you know you can spoil yourself with that is like instant fix or pick me up? What is your go-to? Is it video games? Is it?
I would say traveling and experiences. I think that's the one thing that I can bring me the most sincere joy because I'm taken out of my everyday experience. And even for work trips, you know.
Understand.
Like I like to meet different people of different cultures, you know, and learn from them.
Breath of fresh air.
You know, breath of fresh air because I think like go even between Singapore and KL, I feel like there's a certain level of familiarity. I'm familiar with both sides and I like to be put in a position where I am unfamiliar because you just, that's my guilty pleasure lah. Yeah.
Adventure lah.
Taiwan, no, basically.
I mean, I agree with him. Back then, before COVID, man, I was traveling so much. Dude. I love stamping my passport, looking at a passport with all that because one of my biggest dream was to be able to travel and I got to do that through dancing, through social media jobs and all that kind of stuff. And now, because there aren't that many travel jobs nowadays for me. So in general, so I can't really travel much. Yeah. And now that I have baby, even harder to travel because you want to stay home with your baby. Yeah. So I guess my guilty pleasure has gotten down to very simple things. First, I just make sure that every single time when I have a job, a small percentage of that will go into massage, so that every time I finish a job, I know that your body gets to enjoy the massage because you deserve it, Dennis.
You're the massage guy.
Correct. And then after the massage, I will go and have SS15 chendol.
Damn, it's so specific in that order.
It has to be that chendol and the massage.
Because you can't have the chendol before the massage.
Yeah.
If not, you'll vomit.
So you have it after. So after that two things, I will look at myself. Good job. Now go home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know what is my guilty pleasure?
It's nothing.
I love chuggy. Can I just say that chuggy is amazing?
Hey, sponsor, shout out.
I don't know where I had it. I think it was with you. We went for it for the first time. And then I tried it. And I'm like, this is amazing. So yes, that's how I reward myself. Every now and then, I'll just get some chuggy.
There's a group of addicts in the office, I'll tell you first.
Okay. Now that you mentioned chuggy,
the engine start already.
I give a shout out. I'll give you a shout out. My one is a little bit more old school. If y'all from SS15, y'all Asia Cafe people, you know what I'm saying? I'm a snowflake kind of guy.
Wow, I haven't heard the name
Until today, any other brands that come out and try, y'all cannot beat snowflakes in my heart. Wow. Snowflakes, if you hear me, please don't close. You close too many shops already. I need to eat some of your snowflakes before you open.
Snowflake is the bingsu, is it?
No.
It's shaved ice.
Shaved ice.
Shaved ice.
So it's ice kacang.
No. It's not. It's Chinese shaved ice dessert.
So it's Chinese bingsu.
You know, like Ling Chi Kang like that. I know how to explain. How to explain this?
Huh?
How to explain what
Basically
snowflake is?
shaved ice
It's
dessert.
shaved ice dessert.
Okay.
Shaved ice dessert with grass jelly and
I
taro
know
balls.
Dennis for almost 8 years and he's never brought me before to this place. Right?
Cannot find.
Cannot
It's-
find.
Cannot find. It's
Where is
gone.
so Asia
There's
Cafe?
only no more.
No,
There's
gone.
only like
Om
the
liao.
only place I know is Sami Pyramid, and I hardly go there anymore. I only
see,
go there
I
when I
see.
go there. I always tell Jaisal, dear, after dinner or lunch or whatever, before we go to my car, eat snowflakes first. To me, it's snowflakes before I leave.
Okay.
So if we
Dennis,
ever
you-
go to Sami Pyramid, we're gonna go snowflakes, right?
Yeah. And these need to be, by the way, these things you're choosing, right? They need to be like, if you're having the shittiest day, you get this, right?
Oh.
It helps. This is an impact.
Oh, for me, Chendol.
Chagi.
And, okay.
Shout out, Jody.
So it's basically all food.
Nyonya
lah.
Chendol.
It's all food
Nyonya
at this
Chendol.
point. Okay,
What about you?
Okay.
Yeah, you. I want to know. But
wow.
Pokemon card?
No. Pokemon
Buy
card.
watches?
Collectible stuff is different.
Oh.
It's a lot of research. It's like work one, It's like semi-work.
Right.
But you want to talk about guilty pleasure. It's my kitchen. So I've built a collection of things that if I go into my kitchen, I know I'm going to be happy. Like basically everything from...
The cereal.
I don't even have cereal anymore, dude. It's different already.
Hey, I saw the
I
time
got. But it's not there anymore. So I've cut out the cereal. I've changed it to something else. It's something else already. So I got a whole section just for coffees, from brands that I work with to my friends' coffees. So I can treat myself to like, what am I having today? Oh, Ming Han, tell me, surprise me what,
Wow,
But
fancy.
It's been like, but it's not that fancy,
Yeah,
It's
it-
just like Mokona coffee, Nestle coffee.
It's just different
My
But it
friends'
makes you
brands.
happy
But it makes
because
me
you got options.
Correct. And I can choose that in my own time. No auntie yelling at me from behind to choose what I want to drink.
Coffee bang.
But it's small things like I enjoy things like looking for soya sauce. You think about it, because for me, right, I eat a lot of half-boiled eggs. You understand? And I want to, how can I make my half-boiled egg experience happier, So I go and look for even better soya sauce than the soya sauce I have.
Don't talk to a Singaporean about soy sauce and half-boiled eggs.
No, you need to
Eat
understand. You need to
caramel
understand,
sauce,
right? Because, right,
We don't have caramel sauce.
No.
We eat our half-boiled eggs
With black
just-
sauce.
Yeah, with
the
black,
black
sauce,
sauce,
and
correct,
white
correct.
pepper.
No, black sauce is caramel sauce.
I'm gonna buy you guys. I'm gonna buy you guys this so you can step into the world of, if you enjoy half-boiled eggs, right? You want to elevate the experience. You're all about experiences,
What,
right?
what soy sauce? Please tell
So
me.
the base level you need to buy is Kikoman.
Oh, it's the red.
Okay,
Correct.
okay,
I have
red
it at
one,
home.
okay.
It's good. It's good. The Japanese
it's
one,
step
right?
one. Yes.
I'm waiting for the
Step one. And
Okay.
Kikoman, right? The deal with it, right? You need to put it in the fridge. Because
Yes.
in our tropical habitat, the red thing is always open.
Right,
If you don't put in the fridge,
correct.
insect can grow more one.
Correct. Oh, I've seen.
Correct?
Yes.
The next few steps borders into the sashimi level soya sauces.
Right.
The aged soya sauces. Hey, bro, one drop of it, right, make your eggs taste like their Wagyu level eggs, I'm just going to say this.
But do you feel like the type of eggs also matter?
Yes, so must. So you
Omega
see,
3.
it goes into my obsessions now, okay? You must get free-range Macau eggs. Specifically free-range Macau eggs. And here's the thing. It sounds obsessive, guys. You need to understand.
This is mad.
But you need to understand, right? I don't spend money,
Right.
And this is
Lies, but okay.
significantly cheaper than anything that my peers usually splurge on.
Right.
So I find happiness in like obsessing over like this. This was a goal.
Oh, he's so happy.
Yeah,
He'll
I'm
tell
so
us,
happy I finally got some of this. And the best part was I found the shop. I need to bring you guys to the shop. That kind of thing.
Not plastic.
Not plastic, it's all ceramics. I obsess in finding things like this. So you see, right? In some way, a lot of the things that my guilty pleasures are connected to is like a treasure hunt, like of sorts of my own. Like the happiness does not depend on anything but my own sense of achievement, whether I've reached that.
Correct.
Right. Like it can be anything from like I was obsessed over finding the perfect midnight snack for a while.
Right.
Which
And
is?
Cube steak. So I've developed a steak where if I want it in 10 minutes, it can be frozen to eatable medium raw.
You eat cube
medium
steak.
rare.
You eat
Medium
cube
rare.
steak for supper.
1 a.m. if I wanted to. But the thing is, you see how obsessed I have. I fixed everything. So it's not just I had to go and buy stupid expensive steak, I found my supplier who can, or I can get steak in bulk to freeze in my freezer and prepare if I need it. So I can eat $120 steak for maybe a quarter of that price whenever I want.
At 1 a.m.
At 1 a.m.
Facts. Hey.
I'm very happy that you found this.
Hey, thank you.
Yes,
I'm
I can
happy
feel
that I
your
found it.
joy.
I
I feel
am
your
very
joy.
passionate about
1
really random
a.m.
things.
steak, huh?
Bro, it's life changing.
Never
bro.
thought about it before.
Never. So I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
I'm not a health professional. I just want to say first. I won't recommend any of these practices. But these are my guilty pleasures, and I feel that it's always a sign when my wife look at me and like, why are you doing this? I'm like, I don't know how to explain, but let me step you into this.
No, but
world.
it's like how our wives, if they go and do their nails, right?
Yeah, I don't ask. I don't question.
And then they come back and they ask us to look at the nails and say, hey, very nice, right? And then for me, it's like, yeah, very nice. But I don't know what not nice nails look like.
Yeah. Look.
Have you thought about it? Like, I mean, let's be real.
Bro.
What is nails that are not nice?
No. Okay, we don't talk about nails. We talk about eyelashes.
Yeah. What are eyelashes that are not nice?
Like when a lady takes out the eyelashes, to me, Jason would ask me like, do you think I feel so naked with my eyelashes? I'm like, I'm so happy I'm able to see your face now.
Have you ever come back from a long day of work? Right?
Yeah.
You walk in the door.
Yeah.
Hey dear. Notice anything different? I tell you, I'm the worst at this.
That's
my
the
wife is
scary
already
question to
beautiful.
ask.
Like, I don't have to.
Facts, bro. I told Jason every day.
I cannot tell the difference.
That's the wrong answer. It's still the wrong answer.
Yes, I know it's the wrong answer, but sometimes I also don't want to feel like
I'm not
I can
noticing
tell
it.
the difference, or I'm not noticing it. Like, oh, lipstick color. Oh, this doesn't fit me. I'm like, but it looks very good on you.
Yeah.
But in my head, everything also looks good on her.
Oh!
So,
How to even tell her that
my wife can pull off so many looks, and she looks great. And
my wife can walk out with a towel and slippers and people will still say it's hot.
That's my preferred look, actually.
She can wear a hoodie
My
and
preferred look.
baggy pants and high-cut shoes, and she will look like a break dancer, but she still looks good.
You see, right?
So what can I do?
Actually, we are very simple people. Our well-being, I just wear a towel around the house also can.
Don't wear also, never mind.
Even better, but we cannot say this.
Yeah, kids around.
Our neighbors, how? Our neighbors, how? Our parents come over suddenly one day, then how? How?
Okay, back to your topic.
Okay,
just like I wanted to add. I wanted to add.
Okay.
For those who love to eat half-boiled eggs,
Oh,
don't need to feel pressured by him to buy the Kiko Man. or
Feel pressured.
whatever,
Kiko
right?
Man, shout out.
I used to eat a lot of eggs. I used to once upon a time eat 10 egg whites a day.
My brother.
Every morning I would make, like, you know the egg maker, I would put 5 eggs at the bottom, 5 eggs at the top. I would pour half water at the bottom and full water at the top because the water would drip to the bottom and it will cook the same time. Now once the water submerged fully to the top, you take it and pour it to the top and then let it cook one more time. Your eggs will be almost sous vide. It's like perfect egg.
My guy, that thing
It's
maximum.
And if you want the egg to be even more perfect, right after you make it, pour away the hot water, run cold water over it. As long as your hand can hold that egg is perfect.
You need to stop it from cooking.
Yes.
That's the cold water.
You just need to hold it because if not, your egg yolk will be too hard.
I just want to say that damn thing is supposed to cook 4 eggs only, my right?
I did 10. I was like, how do I do this? Cook underneath, cook. Bro, I ate so much egg back then. I got so many times
Guilty
to
pleasures.
what is that? To research.
Okay, let's end this with this. If you could go back in time and do one thing differently for your well-being, what would it be? What is this sign together? Okay. Your side first. I was like
10 years later.
Suddenly flashback of all the bad memories.
All right. Let me get the ball rolling. Okay, if I could go back in time and do one thing differently for my well-being, I would. Well, actually, what would I do? I would try to convince the younger me that running is not that boring. I feel that is the downfall of my physical fitness because I used to have a goal. I was part of the athletics team last time. So I had a goal. I didn't, and really, if I have a goal, I'll do it. But if I don't have a goal, right, the minute my stadium season finish, right, brother, I'm out. I won't run. I won't work out. Nothing. But the
This
minute
is the same as bodybuilding.
Yeah, no goal.
When you got no goal, nothing to
nothing,
to,
correct.
how hard it is for you to go and run.
I hate it.
You can't.
It's boring.
There is no goal. So that's why it's really hard to push yourself to go to the gym every day without any goal at the end.
If I could go back and do it, I need to train that goal. That even though I have no purpose for it, the real purpose is my health.
Facts.
Because nowadays, pick up baby. I need to develop a new exercise system.
Lower back, you need to do deadlift.
Don't say just lower back.
You just need to do Pilates, man.
Oh my god.
Pilates, you should
But
join.
yeah, but you see, yes. My goal is that I wish I had a more. I fixed my perspective towards exercise.
Nice.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
I'll go first. So one of the things that I think I would have done differently was to definitely not stop dancing.
Oh.
Yeah, I think one thing that really came back and beat me real hard was the fact that I stopped dancing. I lost my passion. I lost that sense of belonging to something. Like dance was something that I hold on to very dearly since I was like 13 years old. You know, like it was an escape for me. It was a way that I expressed myself. And when that dance became job, I remember trying very hard to balance that passion and work. And that was my first time doing it. None of my family did it before. I didn't know how to manage it. Yeah. Then eventually it became overwhelming when a lot of haters, a lot of people doubting you and all that kind of stuff. Then when you get too much, I was like, you know what? I'm done with dancing. Let me cut it. Then once I stopped, then I realized, shit, I gave all these people the power to decide what I do and what I don't do. And dance is actually, I would always tell people, dance is like my first love. And when I broke up with dance, that was hard for me, but I broke up with dance because of all the haters out there and they don't deserve that. So that's why now I'm trying to pick myself back, to go back into dancing, because I know that dancing means more for me than it means for people that watch me dance. That's right. You know, like I want to dance because now I want to do it for me and to probably, hopefully, to be able to dance with Jade in the future. To also to inspire her, to show her that, you know, Daddy want you to dance, Daddy want you to sing, Daddy just want you to be able to express yourself and things like that. Yeah, that's me.
Amen.
John.
Ooh. I think I would have surrounded myself with different people.
Damn,
you say this
to the younger self. No, not you guys, not you guys. But I think
it's okay. We went there.
Yeah,
so
in general, like
sorry.
Like, I think I wish I made better friendships.
Agreed.
I wish I put myself with people that could have anticipated the lessons that I have to learn myself right now. You know, and it's very simple things, you know, and I wish that I asked for advice. I think one thing that I felt that was my biggest downfall in the last 15 years of my life, you know, is that I was always very afraid to ask for advice or ask for help. And I always feel like I had to do it on my own. But ironically, people would come to me for help or advice, and I was always very willing to do it. And I would give the advice to tell people to not be afraid to ask for advice. But I don't take my own advice.
Usually it's like that one.
Bro. Yeah, it's crap. It's complete crap.
Bro, me. This whatever you say is me. And I don't ask for advice. It's not because people would say, Dennis, you egoistic. It's not because ego. It's because I feel that
I don't want to trouble people.
Yeah. Do you know the it's not about whether you owe this guy or what. It's just that, like, let's say I ask Ming, I feel bad that I have to take his time off the day to come and advise me, and I know that he don't need to do that, so I will always try my best to solve it myself and to fix it myself, and I know obviously the best way is to ask for help lah, but you know, you always don't want to disturb people, you don't want to like bother people, and like, hey, I don't want to be a nuisance. So that's also one of the reasons why I don't ask for help back then and just try to bang wall and like figure this out yourself, because you grew up in that surrounding where back then when we were growing up, you know, you want to try to figure something out, your teacher is going to tell you, go back and go and find your own self lah. Then your parents decide, well, you're so stupid, you don't know how to do this yourself, figure it out yourself lah. So, you know, you eventually develop a way of just, you know what, I'm just going to try to ask find ways myself. Back then got no Google lah. You all got Google, got ChatGPT, we don't have all that on.
Now I feel like a lot of learning is done through reverse engineering. So you find the answer and then you figure out your position and then you figure out how to get there. I think at least personally for me, I still belong to that school of thought where you have to figure out that journey on your own. And it's a lot harder. So yeah, it comes with a lot of regrets. It comes with a lot of pain, you know, but I mean, every day you wake up and you still have to have that fire in your belly to keep it going.
And I believe we can agree that this way builds better tenacity, a stronger character, resilience compared to people who probably were spoon-fed. But people who are spoon-fed, they are able to excel way faster. However, when they crash, they wouldn't know how to
Okay, I take it back. Like, y'all have freaking deep. I wish I did something different. I just wish I exercised a bit more. mother. Okay. I'm gonna put one. Have anything to do with my mental well-being in this career? Something I wish I could go back in time and do differently is, I would tell my younger self quite something that's opposite of my personality. Don't give people so much so fast. Yeah. I would tell that, because I think that's what I connected with Dennis with. It's just, if someone need help, go. If someone need my time, go. If someone need this, go. If someone, I was like that, and I felt that you can create potentially a lot of monsters compared to heroes when you do that. Like I think overall, and I feel that we always want to have I don't know whether it's called it a savior complex. I don't want to save anyone, but I wish my younger self would be a bit more wise with understanding that when you give people so much, when you spoon feed so much, the appreciation or the gratitude for stuff is very different. Then it becomes entitlement, or it becomes, this is my right. But it's all part and parcel of growing up, I feel. I wish I could just tell myself that.
But that is funny. That happened to me, but what that taught me, it's not really a good thing. I eventually very easily cut a lot of people out of my life.
But you know what? If people want to find out more, stay tuned for the next episode of how you do that. Guys, thanks so much for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Please follow us on Spotify, follow us on YouTube. Wherever you're seeing this, just follow us. Tag us. Tell us what you're listening to in this episode. Do a story.
Yeah.
And if we might just talk with you.
Yeah, if it relates to you, leave a comment. Yeah. Let us know what you want to hear in our next episode.
Yeah.
And
I want to read comments. I think reading comments is really fun.
We should try.
If you guys think you're funny, you guys can leave comments too.
I hope you guys enjoy this episode. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
How you do that.
Don't have an outro song, dude. Ciao, guys.
Bye.